Hello and welcome. Today I'll show how D4E AI can solve financial modeling problems similar in spirit to Excel eSports by turning a single plain English line into working VBA. For this demo, we'll assume we have an eSports situation where AI is allowed. We'll describe the tasks in plain English. D4E will generate on-the-fly VBA, run it, and write answers straight into the grading cells. In the first pass, if the first pass isn't perfect, we'll iterate and use analyze to improve it. Here's the rhythm we'll follow. Read the questions. For example, here are the questions for the problem case. Draft a one-line help me command. Submit this to D4E over here and watch the code run and then verify the answers. Let's begin. So first we have this case file where we want to look for patterns using regex IDs. So this is the question sheet. Over here is the case data, and here is the answer sheet. When we're done, we're supposed to place the answer here, and we will actually ask AI to do that for us. So this is the solution sheet. There are two solutions. For demo purposes, we have this ready-made help me command, which we were supposed to paste it here like so, and then enter submit, and the expectation is that it will actually do everything once you click submit, because it will run the VBA and the VBA will provide the answers. In real life, it is actually this solution that we're talking about, because in real life we may not exactly understand what this is or how to come up with this. It is of course coming from our understanding of this question sheet, but between this question sheet and this very accurate AI command, how do we get there? Well, the way to do that is that we can ask ChatGPT to produce this sheet for us. So how do we do that? We instruct ChatGPT with an instruction to create the command. First, we'll tell ChatGPT, you are to write a single line command which starts with help me using VBA, and we're giving him context instructions. And of course, the last step will be to ask ChatGPT, now use this. Okay, let's have a look at that. How can ChatGPT work for us? This is ChatGPT. We have pasted the context instructions. As we see, you are writing a single line command, and then at the bottom of it we pasted what was in the question sheet, and then now we are ready to submit to ChatGPT and say, provide us with that help me command line. So we'll have ChatGPT thinking, and we expect him to give us our help me command. So here, ChatGPT has finished, and it has provided us with our help me AI command. That is what we will paste in our submit command. So rather than this, in real life, we will submit this. So we can now have two choices. submit this or submit the one here. This is just for demo purposes, which we will use in the next cases. But in this case, let's try and submit what ChatGPT gives us. So our D4E AI has finished, and it has on the log created this text. There's the VBA created, and it would have executed the VBA as well, and you can see there are clues that it executed the VBA, because where it says to give a command, it actually, you can see the give a message, it actually sees that it gave you a message that the distinct matches completed successfully. As you see, the distinct matches completed successfully. So this is your VBA that was generated by D4E AI, and over here are the execution of that D4E. And of course, we also have a look at our case file, and we can see that he actually placed the answer 2, 3, 4 over here. So in one go, all we did was create an AI command. D4E VBA created the solution and the answer and pasted it quickly. There's no error-prone situation. So we have our solution. So far, we haven't even done much thinking. The distinct count is now placed in the answer box, and we didn't really have to do much. We even asked ChatGPT or AI to provide that with that helpme command. Let's now move on to the next case. Okay, this is now the second case. It's a problem of finding the shortest path on a grid with portals. Every move costs 1, and stepping onto a portal teleports you to its pair at no extra cost. So here's the question sheet. Here's the case data, and here's the answer sheet. And for this demo, we have two solutions. For speed, we will just try and paste this ready-made solution for helpme. But as you've seen before, you can generate this using ChatGPT by using this approach. So we paste the helpme AI command, and we click submit. And when D4E has returned, it would have created another VBA code over here, which is all stored in the log file for audit purposes. So here we can see we have completed running the AI command, and it has come back with the VBA code again. It gets very lengthy, but we can see it has executed the VBA code and says it has completed, and we should expect some answers. And so we go to the answer sheet. He has also provided us with the answers. So we have, again, similarly as in the first problem case, we simply ran the AI, and the AI ran the VBA code and created the answers and pasted the answers. So now we're ready to move on to our third problem. This time it's a market basket analysis of top 10 co-occurring item pairs. This is interesting because part of this solution is Python based, and we will show that the code generated by D4E is both VBA as well as Python. So here we have the question sheet, we have the case data, and we have the answer sheet. And in the same process as before, we would have asked AI ChatGPT to generate for us a help me line, which we will now paste into our submit box for speed. So let's have a look at that. And then we'll simply submit it to get to the solution and to the answer. It's now calling AI assistant again. So D4E AI has come back, and we can see again he generated some VBA code over here, but actually embedded in the VBA code are some Python files that he created, and he ran those Python files. Python is part of the solution on how to solve the problem. So he has actually written Python script, ran it, wrote it to a file, and saved those files. In the end, after running the VBA script and the Python file, we have our answers, and we can look that in the answer sheet. So this answer sheet was created from the VBA code. So as we can see, without us thinking too much, we now have the answer as the top pairs with counts written directly where the competition or the requirements expects them to be. And this is all because D4E is orchestrating Excel, files, and Python end-to-end, and then also cleaning up. So now, let's look at our fourth problem case. Here we have multiple KPIs and top 5 product table with revenue shares. So similarly, these are the question sheet explaining the problem. These are the case data, and we expect our answers to be produced here. So let's go to the solutions. Something interesting in this particular case, as we have tried before, we are probably not gonna complete this, as we will see VBA has problems in trying to code this particular problem. So AI is not guaranteed to solve every problems out there, and in this particular case I believe it will fail, but the purpose of showing this is how we can try to improve our situation even though D4E AI fails to provide the correct answer the first time. And I'll show you that technique. You may not always get the correct AI command the next time, or even the correct VBA command or code the next time, but we will show a technique by we can still try some more. So here's our AI help me command. I will try and submit this and see if we can come up with some answers. Okay, as we had expected, there's something wrong with the way the D4E AI generated the VBA code. There could be, due to complex problems, AI may not even generate syntactically correct VBA. So, and may produce possible errors because the coding is very complicated. So here we can see that AI may have actually produced some problematic code. We have here the VBA code, and as we were running it, we can see an error came out with subscript out of range. That could be possibly inaccurate code being emitted by the AI. What we can do, and this is what we can either try again and hope D4E or OpenAI will generate better VBA code. But since we know where it came out, we can actually do something like this. Bring back the AI command. Since this is AI command, we can simply add a note at the end here. We're saying, please check your VBA code for error 9 subscript out of range. We did not know that before, but we see that it was in a message. So even though he may have created some incorrect VBA code previously, if he does it again, he might be able to double check and therefore not create or emit a VBA code that generates that message. So let's try this again and see how we go. We can clear the logs and simply we now have a new AI. So we are now iterating and we think we have improved this iteration from the previous iteration. This is to demonstrate that not all is lost if the AI is not able to produce. Here we can see an error message came up and we can continue our iteration by simply asking him to watch out for this message. So we saw an error again and we saw it was related to this command of for each control variables must be variant or object. We may not be fully understanding of what the message is about, but still we can continue and progress. We're just telling ChatGPT to watch out for that. So therefore, before he finalizes his VBA code, he can possibly check for this. And look, we are improving constantly. And therefore, there's a good chance that we may actually end up with a valid solution. So D4E and AI has come back with partially correct answers. As we can see here, answers have been provided. However, there's more answers to be given over here. It appears that there's still some errors being encountered in the VBA code that was generated. So we'll have another technique, because if we were just to add that to the bottom of our command and say watch out for type mismatch, it may not mean much. It could be a good try, but just to illustrate another technique, what we could do is we could, rather than us looking at what type mismatch means, here's another thing that we can ask AI to do. AI can actually read our log file, and he will read that type command, and he will find where it is happening in his VBA code. So all we have to do is command him to do that. And the command is help me analyze logs. Basically, he will do just that. He will look at the logs and he will see the error and he will know where to look, hopefully. So let's try and do that and see what he comes up with. So D4E has come back, and we can see that he followed our instruction to analyze the log file, and somewhere here are some advice that the D4E AI can give to us. It might not be easy to read here. Another way to read the log file is to look at the sheet log file, and we might be able to read it better there. So at the bottom you can see there are several suggestions. This is probably what we want to consider, and in here it is saying to use this command as the a revision from the original help me command. So let's just cut and paste this. So at this point, we have not actually gotten, or we've only gotten half the answers we're after. We have tried improving our answers. We got to a point, but it appears that it is too much for the AI to generate correct VBA code. I would guess that this is only it is a reflection of the advancements being made in AI so far. At the moment, it appears that AI is well known to be able to generate correct code, VBA and other types of code, but in this particular case, it has some weaknesses. So, as you said before, this approach may not work for all kinds of problems, but for this example, we have shown that it is possible to continue and possible that we may succeed. So at least this is where we can leave this fourth problem case. So in summary, today we have shown how D4E AI can solve some financial modeling problems by turning a single plain English help me line into on-the-fly production-grade VBA that runs immediately. It reads the case data, applies the rules with fast array logic and fully qualified references, and writes the results in the exact answer cells. And it records every step in the audit logs. The workflow is fast, consistent, and removes error-prone manual steps, yet remains iterative. If the first pass isn't perfect, we refine the command or use analyze to improve it. And when needed, D4E can export to CSV, call Python, and call the outputs back into the workbook. The bottom line, accurate, competition-ready answers with less friction and more control. If you're comparing tools, Copilot is great for formulas, pivots, and explanations. For on-the-fly VBA, deterministic writebacks, Python handoffs inside Excel, D4E is built for this eSports-style workflow. Thank you very much and see you next time.